Here are some thoughts on the patch notes as well as Dooku. We're going to take a look at his cards first, and then we'll see some gameplay and kind of get a feel for him. Hopefully this is working. We're having some issues with YouTube earlier tonight, so figured I'd throw this out now. First thing, the patch downloads pretty quick, but it takes about an hour, maybe hour and a half, depending upon your speeds. So we'll start with the cards. Just a health card, maximum health regeneration. Again, these are not how fast you regenerate health. This means you can regenerate more. Alright, that's what it does for Obi-Wan and Grievous. I'm pretty sure it's the same here. I'm gonna have to double check it, obviously. We won't use the cards in arcade so much, so we can just get a feel for his base. Finesse here is affecting your stamina with lightsabers, which remind me to say something about that. No, you don't have to remind me, obviously. But yeah, the stamina thing is, I want to touch on that. Blind Spot, Lightning Stun. I've used this. A larger area of effect is good. It'll make it arc between the troopers. It will anyway. You don't need the card to make it arc, but to be able to hit more, you know. So exposed weakness, this is just kind of like Obi-Wan Kenobi's Mind Bend. It just lowers their stats, or not, this one lowers their stats, kind of, but like how much damage they take. We'll look at that in-game, to be specific, but this makes the duration go up. You can read that, obviously. The health card, this is where 15 starts, respectively, 20 here. So we'll go over here. You get your lightning back quicker. When Duelist is active, see, he goes into like Vader's rage mode, except he doesn't get damage resistance. So with this card, it just makes it, yeah, he does more damage. With this, the enemies that he uses R1, the Mind Bend, on, they'll take more damage. So they're not to be confused. You'll get a look for yourself in gameplay, but again, this is, yeah, how much he will do damage-wise when he uses his buff, L1R1. This is for R1. So, this gets your Vader's Rage kind of thing, whatever. His buff, his personal buff, comes back quicker. So, now a couple thoughts. First things I noticed was that, actually the first thing that stood out for anything is the stamina bar. Now I hope this is just arcade. I didn't get to play Dooku in Heroes Villains yet. Obviously that's just going to be a mess to deal with, so I'll be playing him probably in Galactic, which is what I recommend too. I'll touch on that in a second. Look at this. He's out of stamina, but he's still swinging like crazy. Again, it could just be arcade. This is shock. It doesn't arc like Emperor's. You don't hit a target and then it bounces out. You want to aim in between two targets. It took me a second to get that. There are one weakened. You see it's a one-hit kill there. With heavies, it's still... No, I didn't do anything. He's a two-hit kill there with a heavy. With Dooku. It takes two swings of the lightsaber to kill a heavy, which we both all know. They have 150 health. It's a little more than everybody else. So that's kind of a gauge. Now, when you use the R1 on them, even though they're weakened, it still takes two hits to kill them. So, here's his buff, and using R1. One hit. But then one hit for the officer, so... Look at that. Now let's use both of them on a heavy. Look at his health. See it? Still alive. So, keep that in mind on the battlefield, guys. Dooku's got to hit you twice if you're heavy, which I know not a lot of people play heavies. People consider that kind of noobish or whatever, but they have their place on the battlefield. Like anything, it's the, how the artist uses the tool, not the tool itself, kind of thing. Alright, so, that said, he's really quick, moves really fluid. Reactivate L1R1 here. Doesn't increase his running speed, but he will attack a little faster. So, now what I was saying before is, if you're having a tough time in Heroes Villains, it's annoying to you trying to be able to play him and it's taking forever. Try Galactic. You just gotta, race to get the points. And we'll encounter the thing where everybody's waiting in the menu to try to get a hero. I mean, that's just what happens. but pretty much everybody I game with, or people that are watching this, most of you are, you know, decent enough at the game that I know of that, you know, you can get the points pretty quick. I mean, there's kind of, I don't want to say called a learning curve, but for a lack of a better term, and y'all seem pretty quick with that. So, I mean, you just get the points really fast, you know, kill people, do your best. Try to get them before all the other people are waiting in the lobby. That's really the best bet. But with Heroes Villains, it's going to be a lot of, you know, people dropping because they're not villains and they want to play Dooku. It got worse with each drop. I don't like saying that. I don't like saying, you know, being pessimist or anything, but, you know, it's pretty bad through this. It got ridiculous with Kenobi. Let's try his blocking out, shall we? Okay. Come at me, bro. So it's relatively accurate, which is cool. I'm out of stamina, and I ain't deflecting or blocking anything, am I? He ain't even lifting his lightsaber. However, I've tried this out. Even though out of stamina, you still do the same amount of damage, too. You'll take 2 hits. Oh, so there I got a little back, but you get the point. Now, before I close this, I don't know if you've already closed the video. If you haven't, good, because I wanted to propose something. And it's not necessarily an idea just for me or for our circle of friends and stuff. Anybody can use this. But if you got 7 friends that are willing to wait 7 turns to play Dooku, you can get a 4v4 going, you know, with friends, and then just everybody kind of everybody takes a turn, you know. And that might actually be better than trying to play it in the wild where, you know, you got to deal with all the junk. So that's 7 people got to honor it. They got to be willing to, you know, hang out anyway. And I wouldn't say go easy on Dooku, but don't just go gunning for him, you know. If we can all agree to kind of do those things, 7 people want to do that. Well, 8 counting yourself, you know. I don't know. I think it could be a good idea. You know, people all kind of agree to some basic ground rules. It works out pretty well on, you know, Kerm streams doing it. I saw that. It could work. But, that's that. So, there's a look at Dooku. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If there's anything I didn't cover, I'll be sure to leave it there. For the most part, though, it looks like, yeah, the stamina bar isn't as effective as I'd hoped or thought. Again, that could just be arcade. He feels really fast, really fluid, like we all thought he's going to be better in combat. The lightning attack, don't forget that you want to aim in between the 2 enemies, kind of, in Galactic. And then it'll go arc to them. But it doesn't bounce from guy to guy. You know, I think that's pretty much about it. Took a look at his cards, they're all kind of basic, you know. So we'll see you out there, and, you know, consider the idea. Leave some feedback on that, I'd appreciate that.